Now on to my nan's favourite. Here's how I cook Nannie Nash's sweet and sour king prawns. Whenever we visited Nan down south, it was off to the Chinese takeaway and sweet and sour king prawns was definitely on the menu. So I've just got a pan of oil on here. It's about 8 to 10 centimetres in depth. It's just normal vegetable oil. You could use groundnut, you could even use a rapeseed oil. While that's doing its thing over there, on here I have some big fat juicy king prawns. Now these are raw, deveined and peeled. You can do this at home. My amazing fishmonger has done it for me. So I have actually got an allergic reaction to raw shellfish these days, thanks to mum and dad and the cases and cases of king prawns that we had to peel as a child. So, nice big bowl. Now the reason we use a big bowl is because I'm going to get my hands in here in a second. I'm going to really massage the ingredients into the king prawns to start off with. And again, it's just down to that tenderization, I guess, but it's making the king prawns even more juicy and tender when we eat them. So in go my king prawns. To this, I'm just going to add a tiny pinch of salt. So about that much will do. And I have a beaten egg. I might not use all of this. I need just enough to coat the king prawns, so about that much will do. And now I get my hands in. And all I'm doing is massaging it into the flesh, making them even more tender and juicy than they already are. Now the egg and salt and king prawns are well and truly mixed. I have another bowl of corn flour here. Now this is going to get a little bit messy, but I'm going to get a nice big handful of corn flour and I'm just going to put this in and now just gently turn the king prawns in the flour. Now in goes for corn flour number 2. And you know what? Corn flour number 3. So you can see now the king prawns have separated in the corn flour and we've got some big fat juicy king prawns in what will be a really crispy batter. So just while I wash my hands off, this is how I made the sweet and sour sauce. In every takeaway I've worked in, the sauce has always been made in huge batches at the beginning of the week using some very familiar ingredients. Begin by adding 1 cup of water followed by 1 cup of orange juice to a saucepan, followed by sugar, rice vinegar. Alternatively, you could use white vinegar or apple cider vinegar, tomato puree and tomato ketchup. Stir over the heat to dissolve the sugar and combine all of the ingredients. Give it a quick taste. If you prefer a more tart, sweet and sour sauce, add a touch more vinegar, or if you prefer it sweeter, add more sugar, or for more of a tang, add more ketchup. Once you're happy with the taste, set to one side. Now, king prawns, they're separated. I'm just going to bang off the excess corn flour. And as I drop it into the oil, I'm just going to drop the prawn away from me. This then stops or prevents the splashing coming back my way if it decides to have a moment and spits at me. Right, I'm just going to turn the oil down ever so slightly because I don't want it to boil over. Now, if you don't have a wire rack, you can get a plate and some kitchen paper and we can just drain the king prawns on there. And using your chopsticks or a pair of tongs, we're just going to move the king prawns around in the oil just to make sure that they're all separate still. Which they are. Now, you can see that inside the pan now, there's quite a bit of a commotion going on. And this is the water escaping from the king prawns as they're frying. Now, once that dies down ever so slightly and it becomes a little less ferocious, we know that our king prawns are nearly done. So we're already getting nice golden brown colour. And king prawns only take a minute or 2 to cook. These are quite large king prawns, so I'm going to give them about 3 minutes. So king prawns have had 3 minutes. They're nice and golden brown. The bubbles are still bubbling, but these are king prawns. If I was to cook chicken or pork and make it, well, I would definitely cook it a little bit longer, and I'd wait for these bubbles to near enough disappear altogether. But as I want my king prawns to be juicy, I'm going to switch off the heat, and just carefully and one by one, I'm going to pop them onto my wire rack just to drain. So let's bring this dish together. So my wok is already getting hot. On this plate, I have some onion, some green pepper, some carrots, and some pineapple. Pretty much a standard vegetable platter, which is served with sweet and sour king prawns in pretty much every takeaway and Chinese restaurant. So I'm just going to add a splash of oil into my wok. And to this, I'm just going to throw in all of my veggies at the same time. Now I'm just going to fry off my veggies just to get that little tiny bit of caramelization onto each of the pieces of ingredients. Now in goes our sweet and sour sauce, which we made earlier. I'm not going to add all of it, I'm just going to add some of it. Now, while that's coming up to the boil, here's my thickener. Now this is literally corn flour and water, and all I'm going to do is mix it together to create a smooth milk-like mixture. Okay, so that's my corn flour and water combined. Now it's really, really important that the mixture or the sauce is boiling before we try and thicken. So get it onto its highest setting, and I'm gonna just drizzle a tablespoon and a bit into the sauce, and you can see that it thickens instantly. So my king prawns are still hot, so I'm just gonna switch off my heat. I'm gonna grab my tray, and I'm just gonna carefully pour my king prawns into my wok. I'm just gonna toss these in that sauce. And now we can serve my Nan's favourite dish. My sweet and sour king prawn Hong Kong style. They're going to be juicy, they're plump. You can see how plump these king prawns are, they're amazing. We're going to get that nice background of pepper taste, the sweetness from the pineapple. And I know if my Nan was here now, I wouldn't even be able to get the rest of this onto the plate because her fingers would be in. So this here really is for you, Nan.